I think we should do Journeyman next,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, I think we were both. I always remember Journeyman now because when we met recently, one of the first things Mo gave me a comment. What have you got on?
Yeah, I was very tired that I could not detect what it was. I didn't really want to use my brain because it was late.
Yes,
It was late. It was like 10, 11 o'clock
I
at
promise you,
night.
it was late. It was. Yeah.
And I was about to pass out and go to bed. And then he turns up and I'm like, what the hell is that? It's really good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whatever it is, I'm wearing it tomorrow. Like I made the mental decision. He was like, it's Journeyman. And as soon as he said it's Journeyman, I was like, of course it's bloody Journeyman.
You got it straight away after that. You know what? And when it's an unsolicited compliment, it's just the best thing, isn't it?
It is. And now we have 2 Journeymen. So my Journeyman bottle that I have is a G batch. In case you guys are wondering, G batch, whatever it is modern as hell. Guys.
Yeah, it's a newer one, basically.
It's a newer one. It does not have any Lilial in it.
No,
it's modern. It's got the name on the front. It's modern as hell. This one we know is for sure before 2021.
Yes.
Now, according to our research, there's only 2 formulas of Journey: pre 21 and after 21. Yeah. So there's not, according to our research, if you know any more, pop it in the comments. But let's give Journey a try.
Yeah.
Right, we're not going to, this one, I think we should do a blind spray.
Go on then.
Well, actually, you're going to find out because there's a difference. It's a different atomizer.
Yeah.
Let's spray Journey on and see what happens.
Let's do it.
Okay, so we have a vintage hand and a non-vintage hand.
So we'll stick with the same thing. So we'll stick with vintage hand.
Okay, cool. Let's spray the vintage one. Oh, this was my scent of the day yesterday. I don't have a scent of the day today because I knew we would be spraying all of these. So you can literally see the Epic Man's oil mark. It's quite interesting. So let's go for a spray of vintage Journey. These decants spray a lot.
A lot.
Now, you tell me what your experience is with Journey, the modern versus the vintage.
Okay, so when I got my hands on the vintage Journeyman, I said to myself, you know what we'll do is I'll start off with the newer one, really understand it, get to know it, what is it all about. And when I started comparing it to the older vintage, without discussing anything with Mo first, I thought, let me just see how I'm getting on. And I found they're very, very close. I was almost, I want to use a phrase, splitting hair. They're both potent, both strong. I mean, I can smell it, straight away. My hand's here and I can get whiffs of it straight away. So I'd say, you know what, they, in a quick snapshot, I think you're not missing out too much. The difference is very, very similar.
So I wore Journey yesterday, and I wore it a few times before that. But I wore it obviously just to experience it as a perfume, not to compare it. But in terms of comparing it to A to B, I've compared them A to B yesterday. And I found a few takeaways from my first wear. I wore it to work. I sprayed way too much. It was like filling up the place.
Yeah.
Made me quite self-conscious, but it was worth it. So,
non-vintage.
Okay, so there's 2 things that I spotted, and I'm still spotting today about the Journeyman. So with Journeyman, there's 2 distinct differences. One is in the opening, okay, and this could be attributed to age, is that the vintage is not as fresh.
Yeah.
The vintage, the Sichuan pepper, is more prominent. Now, that's not necessarily due to reformulation. It could be due to just it losing its top notes as it's aged. It's in a decant bottle. It's not in the original bottle. These things happen over time.
Yeah.
And the second distinct difference in the scent profile is with the Sichuan pepper, is that in the vintage, it feels more intense. And I don't know if you've cooked with Sichuan pepper or you've eaten Sichuan pepper. I have Sichuan pepper in my spice cabinet. I cook some Chinese food with it. And when it's fresh, it's very citrusy and sharp.
Yeah.
And to me, the modern smells like a fresh Sichuan pepper.
Yeah.
Okay? The Sichuan pepper in the vintage smells like it's old. Okay? And Sichuan pepper, if you don't store it correctly, it starts to have moisture and starts to go old. what happens is if it gets a bit damp, this is the spice,
Right, yeah.
Because I cook a lot. I'm big into food. It starts to have like an eggy thing going on and less fresh. Okay, and it's more intense. And I find the vintage to be like that.
Yeah, I can pick up on that as well. Yeah.
Now, there's another thing that I noticed is that the vintage one, now this could be due to the fact that this sprays a lot more
Yeah.
than Amouage. Amouage, you need to sort out your sprays. They don't spray a
100%,
lot.
yeah.
They don't spray a lot. If this little thing is spraying better, that's a cause for concern. And this could be a dose-dependent thing. To really test it, I'd have to decant some of the modern into the same exact bottle and spray them together. But I think this one, the vintage pushes out a bit more.
Yeah, I can definitely agree. You know what? Having them side by side right now,
it's just stronger.
Yeah.
It's just stronger. It pushes more. It's just more intense. In terms of longevity, at the end of my workday yesterday, I had one on each arm, just like this.
Yeah.
I actually wore modern like fully around my neck, but I had one spray of each.
Right.
The vintage outlasted everything else by a few hours.
Wow.
So in terms of getting modern versus journey, what do you think?
Okay, my opinion on it would be that chasing the vintage is nice, right? We've said that with Epic as well. But I think, you know what? Don't go out of your way crazily finding the vintage, right? I think that the newer batch still has got enough potency in there for it to, last you for quite a long while anyway. Unless you're looking for something, if you're going to use it as your everyday scent and you want it to last all the way around, then chase vintage. But as we discussed before, you might be paying for prices. The prices you're going to be paying might be a lot higher than the average bottle for Journey.
Exactly. So with Journey, we only know of one reformulation, which is 2021.
Yeah.
Now, 2021 is only 4 or 5 years old, right?
Yes.
So you could probably find vintage bottles for very cheap or of the same price.
Yeah.
If I had both of them for the same price, I would go for the vintage one.
All day
because
long.
it seems like it just performs better. In terms of scent profile, not much in it. If anything, I prefer the freshness of the modern one more.
Yeah.
But if I had a choice between them, I would go for the older one.
Yeah.
Just because if it is performing better and it's not a dose-dependent thing, then why not at the same price?
100%.
Would I pay extra? Probably not.
No.
If it's like 10 or 20 quid, maybe. But I'm more than happy with my modern Journeyman.
I mean, having them side by side, right? This is what I'm thinking. As Mo said, right? I've got the original not original. Let's start again. I've got the current batch, right, of Journeyman, and I feel like that's more than sufficient. But if I found one that was an older batch, pre-2021, I would snap it up. Yeah,
because it was made in 2014, I think. By Alberto Marias and Pierre Negrin combined. So it's not that old. And if it got reformulated in 2021, you can easily find a bottle for cheap.
I've seen a couple come up on eBay before, and they weren't sort of crazy prices either.
The only pain with Journey is that you have to weigh it because you cannot see through this bottle.
Yeah.
No matter what high-tech torch you have.
Yeah, it doesn't show you.
You have to weigh it.
I think I did this with someone recently. I'll send the weight of my bottle, which has probably got no more than 2 or 3 ml missing in there. And we'll use that as a reference guide, as in don't hold it gospel, but I think that would be a good...
But if you have any other Amouage that's pretty full, you can weigh that too.
Yeah.
I don't think they weigh that much different.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So that was Journeyman. So next up, and the final perfume is Lyric Man. So I don't have a Lyric Man.
Yes.
I actually sold you my bottle.
You kindly did.
We only found that today.
Yeah.
My bottle has the name on the collar.
Yeah.
But when we aged it based on the batch code, we said it was 2016.
Yes.
So I believe this. So Journeyman, Lyric Man was released in 2008. Okay. And I know that there is 3 confirmed formulas.
Yeah.
So there's the original. And then in 2025, it was reformulated.
Yeah.
Because in 2025, IFRA reduced the amount of some kind of compound that's in rose quite considerably. So rose things got reformulated around then. And then we know in 2021 it got reformulated a second time. So there's 3 formulas out there. So I have a modern post 2021 sample. Okay, this will last us, I think, a couple of mils. And this one we know is pre 2015, or do we not know?
I'd say it's definitely, we've looked at the picture of the bottle, which was a non-mag cap.
So it's non-mag cap. We're pretty certain.
Yeah.
It's not a tester.
No, it's not a tester.
So that's definitely pre-2015.
Yeah, I'd say so. I'd say 90% pre-2015. Yeah.
So we have Formula 1, not the cars. Formula 3. You have Formula 2 at home.
Yes.
We won't compare the second Formula, but you know from your experience, I've worn it before I sold it to you. So let's go for Lyric Man. Cool. So which hand is the modern hand? This
modern hand's this
is
one.
the watch
hand.
hand.
Left hand, yeah.
Cool. So I've got space just up here to roll my sleeves up. There's a lot of Amouage.
That's how you know you love your fragrances, when you go get your sleeves both rolled up.
So we're going to spray 2 of this, so it at least somehow stands up to that crazy decant bottle you got. Fuck it, we'll do 3.
Thank you.
So this is the modern. I believe it's 2023 or 2022. And let's spray the vintage. We'll just do 1 spray of this because it is intense.
Dousing yourself.
Wow, that is a lot. They're brilliant though, wherever you got them from. There we go. Right. So I've never smelled the vintage except yesterday.
Right.
When you gave me it. Or you gave me a few days ago and you tested it yesterday.
I've had a couple of plays with both.
Wow. This is a totally different fragrance to me. Like, to me... What the hell is going on here? So I think Lyric Man is one of the few that everyone unanimously agrees that it's been reformulated and it's considerably different. I don't think I've ever seen anyone deny that.
Yeah.
I've even seen, obviously, friend of the channel, Daniel from Seldomly Often. He reviewed both versions and he detected distinct differences. And I'm getting similar things. Now, to me, with this Lyric Man, there's 2 distinct differences, right? With the scent profile.
Yeah.
So for me, Lyric Man is based around 3 things, if you don't know what it smells like. So it has that lime opening, very distinctive lime, okay, which adds a fresh greenness to it.
Yeah.
And it has rose, of course. It's a nice pink rose. I don't think it's like jammy, like...
No.
It's not like an MFK rose where it's like syrup, right?
Yeah.
And it has a soapy thing.
Yeah.
Where it smells kind of like you're having a bubble bath, right? And I think that the soap and the rose are like 2 ends and they're pulling to see which one will be dominant.
Agreed.
And I think in the vintage, the rose wins.
Yes.
Because there's more rose in it.
Yes.
And I think in the modern, the soapy qualities win. The powdery, soapy kind of things win. And the rose kind of like is more in the background.
I mean, what I'll add to that is what Mo said is pretty much what I agree, you know. The newer ones, I find they're more sort of, the rose takes the background note. You can smell it there, right? But it's in the background. Don't go into it thinking that, you know, it's going to be rose heavy. No. Whereas if I smell the vintage, the rose is a lot more predominant. And that's in line with what we've said with regards to the formulations.
This one makes sense, doesn't it? Because we know what got banned and we know they had to reduce it. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I have to comment is the lime is slightly different, right?
I think the newer one, in my opinion, is a little bit more sharper, crisper.
100%.
And especially on initial spray as well. So on the top notes, I find that you get that lime straight away.
Now, whether that's due to age or not, it could be. Because obviously lime is a citrus. It evaporates. It's one of the top notes that doesn't last.
Yeah.
Maybe if you bought the vintage back in the day, it had a more stronger lime. But to me...
Yeah, I think
it's not very limey.
I think as well what you said about citrus notes as well. They're the first ones to go when fragrances start, you know, sort of slowly losing their sort of juices and, you know, losing their concentration. So I think, you know, 100%. What I would say is the citrus, the lime is a lot more dominant in the newer batch.
Yep.
Yeah,
I get that too. Now, with regards to Lyric Man. Performance, did you find any performance difference between the 2?
In my testing, I thought they were fairly close, right? And it's quite weird because one is I'd say they're not really far off from the scent profile. It's just they do the same thing but in a different way.
I agree. Yeah.
So one starts off and it gives you a lot, as we said, more of the citrus, and it gives you more of the lime and the roses at the back. It's a soapier scent. I was speaking to someone in the group, right, and what they said to me was their wearing was basically they compared it to Prada L'Homme, right, and they said it's like imagine Prada L'Homme but with a bit of rose to it, you know, that clean, crispy scent, and it's very similar to that. Whereas with this, I'd say the rose takes it. It almost makes it feel like it's a little bit more stronger, right? But when I've worn them both back to back, right, in different situations, different scenarios, what I would say is I think that the longevity and performance is about the same.
Yeah, for me, Lyric Man is a strong performer.
Yeah,
If you overspray this thing, it can really suffocate you and makes the wear experience not very pleasant.
Yeah.
It's not like when you wear like a super edgy masculine perfume, and if you overspray it, it just makes you even more vulgar and like showy. This one actually like makes me feel miserable if I overspray it.
Yeah.
Because it just suffocates me with that powdery kind of cleanness. Can become a bit too much.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of scent profile, I prefer the vintage. Okay. In terms of performance, I did not find much difference.
No.
I'll be honest, I have not given the vintage decant you've given me a full wear.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I've given the mid vintage you've given that I sold you a full wear, and I've given this sample 2 full wears.
Yes.
Historically, and I've given, but this one I did not have enough time between getting it and filming to give it a full wear, so I can't really comment on projection and longevity, but it does feel like it's similar strength.
Yeah, from my wearing of both, what I'd say is they are fairly similar. It's just the experience, as we said, is one starts off more of a soapier and with the rose in the background, right? Whereas this one comes in straight with the rose as well, and you can really see it. I think if I had to say, this one the vintage stays true to what Lyric Man is and what it should be, right? But obviously with it being choked with the IFRA regulations, we've got a slightly more soapier one, which is not a bad thing, I don't think.
I think both scents are good.
Yeah.
I think you smell them, both are Lyric Man.
Yeah.
So the reformulation has not changed it into like to be indistinguishable from one another. But I would say I'd sample both before committing.
Yeah.
Now, personally, the reason I passed my Lyric Man off is that it's not something that I got a lot of wears out of. Because I like rose, but in this setting, it felt like it was a bit too fancy.
Yeah.
It's a very big scent profile, and I felt like I couldn't really pull it off to work and stuff like that. Like I'd have to be going to like a wedding or an event.
Yeah.
And I just felt like it was not getting much wear, so I thought I'd pass it on to you because you hopefully enjoy it more than I did.
Yeah.
So in terms of Lyric Man, what do I think? I think this one, some people, I'd say it's 50-50.
Yeah.
I think some people will actually prefer the modern one.
Yes.
They'll like the soapier, they'll like the lighter. Men with rose.
Yeah.
There's a lot of preconceptions. A lot of people say, oh, it's not masculine enough.
100%. I've heard that.
If you want a less rosy Lyric Man and you're just not a huge rose guy, you might prefer the modern one more. If you want a big dose of rose, you might prefer the vintage one more.
Yeah.
For me, my recommendation is sample and go
100%.
for whichever one you prefer.
Yeah.
For me, I don't need to own Lyric Man.
Yeah.
So I'm not seeking a bottle of vintage or modern or mid-vintage, like we said, the middle formula. And that's just because of my personal tastes. But I think it's one of those where you really have to sample it.
Yeah.
Now, do you think there's a big difference between this vintage and the mid-vintage that I gave you?
I'd say the mid-vintage is fairly close towards the newer ones, right? I still find the bottle that you gave me first, it lasts the same. Everything's pretty much similar, but I feel it's more truthful to say that it's closer towards the newer ones. It's more soapy than rose, whereas with the vintage, you can really sort of sense it out that you're getting the rose.
Yeah, I think just by spraying this, it smells like the bottle.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's a 2016 bottle, and the bands came in 2015. I believe usually they give them some leeway, where they're like, you have 12 months to get your shit together. So maybe yours is vintage.
I think so.
Because it's just between the two, but it smells to me like exactly the same as this vintage decant here.
100%.
So with Lyric Man, I'd say they're two quite different takes on the same DNA. And I would say you need to sample and decide which scent profile you like. But with performance, that's not really.
No, I mean,
detectable.
what I think I agree with Mo again, which is you go about it in which way. So the polar end of the spectrum, right? You've got one that's either soapy with rose at the background, or you've got rose with predominantly more darker rose, I'd say, And if I had to pick one, right, and I'm probably deciding between vintage and non-vintage. If I didn't have one, and if a vintage came up, again, I'd probably go for that because it's more truthful to it. I mean, the box even has a rose on there as well. So, I think it's more truthful to have the vintage. But would I go out my way if I've got a normal one? No, I'd be more than content with the newer batches as well.
Fantastic. So that's our opinion on Lyric Man. Now, I just want to add something, which I've noted when smelling all of these. Now, we said earlier in the intro that people look at Amouage as post Christopher Chong and during Christopher Chong's era, right?
Yeah.
And the new guy, Renaud Salman, gets a lot of hate online.
Yes.
He killed Amouage. He destroyed the fragrances.
Yeah.
He's a bad guy. And don't get me wrong, I prefer the older Amouages. And I think if you put them head to head, it's a no-brainer. Just for my taste preferences, there's only a few modern Amouages that I really like.
Yeah.
But when I was researching for this video, and I tested all of these out extensively, all of these are Christopher Chong era creations. But other than Journeyman, let's say you're a big Epic Man fan, and you say Epic Man has been destroyed.
Yeah.
Okay? And let's say you're a big Lyric Man fan, and you say Lyric Man has been destroyed.
Yeah.
If you were to blame someone, it would be Christopher Chong.
Yeah.
Okay? And the headline would be Christopher Chong destroyed Epic Man.
Yeah.
Or Christopher Chong destroyed Lyric Man, because the reformulations happened during his tenure as creative director.
Yeah.
But everyone likes to blame the new guy. I really think that that's just not right.
I completely agree with you. I think he's come in at a time where, there was a lot of things happening. Now, Amouage, I've done a lot of research. I've read endless amount of articles, etc. They're known for being challenging, and they don't even shy away from it. They something like Mythsman, something like we were talking about this Figment. Figment is probably one of the most challenging, even for me. I mean, it's a scent. First of all, I'll always recommend buying a decant. So initially they were challenging. They were for people who wanted performance, and they wanted something very different,
very artistic.
Yeah. And obviously, when Renaud Salman came in, I think he came in at a time where all these reformulations were happening.
They had to happen.
Yeah.
Because everyone reformulated in 2021 because of the Lilial thing. So you could say, and would you say that Renaud Salman destroyed Journeyman?
I wouldn't say. I wouldn't blame him. No, I don't think so.
Even if the reformulation didn't need to happen and they just did it just because, I think the difference is not that big. And I'm more than happy with my current bottle.
100%.
The reason I'm bringing this up is that I feel like you can be dissatisfied with the new releases because they're not artistic and they're kind of more safe and maybe they're a bit more mass appealing. That's fair enough. That's your own opinion. But I think if you have to blame him and Amouage for the reformulations that have happened more recently, actually these reformulations, the point I'm making is they've been happening for a long time. Epic Man got reformulated twice before this guy came in and got destroyed during one of them, supposedly, according to the fans. To us, I would say it did get a bit destroyed.
Yes.
And actually, it was not under the new guy. So what I'm saying is that do not pin the blame on him for some of these reformulations. Some of your favorites got destroyed by the people that were involved during Christopher Chong's era. So let's give. I'm not saying Christopher Chong is a bad guy.
No,
okay, he did great work, but I'm just saying that these things happen, and sometimes they're outside of the hands of the creative director.
100%.
It's probably more linked to money, perhaps, and IFRA, of course.
Yeah, I think IFRA has taken the primary role because if there's regulations set in front of you, they have to abide by them. They can't just say, well, we'll ignore it because we'll have no fragrance house at the end of the day, would we? So,
yeah.
I mean, just to put on that as well, whilst you were saying that, look at Jubilation. Jubilation is loved by everyone, right? And again, how many formulations it's had. We can't blame anyone else for that. You know, it's part of the journey of it. And I think one more thing, Mo, which we brushed on when we were initially talking, was the natural ingredient side of things.
Yes, 100%.
Right. So with obviously natural ingredients, me and Mo were talking about batches. And let's say, for example, we'll keep it simple, but let's say if Mo has a J batch, which is the newest one, and I have a H batch, right? It would be naive of you to say, well, you know what, they should smell the same because they're not fully synthetic. You know,
Exactly.
They're not made in a lab where there will be, precision amount of, ingredients going in. There's different harvesting methods, different weather conditions. There's a lot of factors that change the batch, even though they follow it to the T.
Exactly. So let's say they're getting rose from their rose farm. They like to advertise that on their Instagram. Let's say they've been getting the same rose from the same farmer every year for 20 years, right? Their rose is slightly different because
100%.
it's a plant. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there is usual batch variations and stuff like that. And we need to account for those.
Yeah.
Because some people say, oh, royal tobacco, we're going to visit that later.
Yeah.
One is sweeter and one is smokier. And you just think, I mean, it's not necessarily a reformulation or a full reformulation. Perhaps it is just variations in ingredients. These guys have to buy a ton of ingredients because they're a huge company.
Yeah.
If you're making like 100 bottles, you can just buy like a small amount of ingredients and do it. But if you're making thousands of bottles, you sometimes have to source materials from different places.
I mean, we'd be the first as fragrance fanatics. We'd be the first to complain if our favorite bottle was no longer in stock for a while. We'd be panicking and saying it's been discontinued. So, to keep up with our demands, I think, they need to do it fast.
Yeah, and how many times has been rumors of discontinuation?
A lot.
Just because something's out of stock. Like, I can't see it anymore. It's gone.
I think we blame each other for that as well within the community. As soon as you see something go out of stock, everyone's worrying, thinking... prime example was Beach Hut Man. I mean, there's still talks about Beach Hut Man being discontinued, but there's a lot of stock currently at the shooting of this video right now.
Exactly.
There's a lot of stock of Beach Hut Man at the moment.
So that was our first part of our comparisons between vintage Amouages versus modern.
Yeah.
We've covered journey, epic, and lyric. It was quite an epic journey.
I'd say
I would say so. And there's plenty different ones we have to
that's
cover.
a good pun intended by Mo, their epic journey there.
It was a very epic journey. We now need to test some more.
Yes.
Some that are famous.
Yes.
Interlude, reflection, jubilation. Some that are rumored, like Beach Hut.
Yeah.
That one's a funny rumor because it's not, to me, this instinctively, I'm like, what could have happened in the past 5 years since it was released?
Yeah.
It's quite new, isn't it? So we will be testing some more.
Yeah.
We'll hopefully be trying to get some real old ones.
Yeah, but I think what we're going to do, we're going to come back with a part 2. Hopefully me and Mo are going to try and source some from different avenues and really give you guys a in-depth analysis,